Hi, boys and girls. Miss Austin is here with you today, and we are going to be continuing our focus on fractions. So for today, we are looking at fractions that are more than one. So we have our SE right here for us, our student expectation. We are expected to use concrete models to count fractional parts beyond one whole. We're going to use our words, and we're going to recognize how many parts it takes to equal one whole. So let's get started. Okay, so we have some fractional parts of a pizza here. We can tell by the models that there are two pieces to make up an entire pizza. So this pizza is cut into halves. We would call this halves. So I'm going to have a little box right here, and our word is halves. These pizzas are cut into halves. So how many halves do I have? Well, I'm going to have to go through and count the numbers I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to give me 5 halves. Another way I could write this is to show you that I have 2 whole and 1 So if you look at this, we see 2 whole pizzas completely filled up. 1 pizza, 2 pizzas, and then a half of a pizza. And a good strategy I always like to show my kids whenever we're counting how many wholes and how many halves we have is to put a circle around the ones that are completely colored in. When they're completely filled in, that makes a whole. So since I have 2 circles here, I have 1 whole, 2 wholes, and what's left is a fraction, 1 half. If I wanted to count just the halves that I have, again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. So there's different ways for us to show this fraction. Take a look at another one. I have some more pizzas here, and we're going to do the same strategy. So I'm going to start with looking at how many halves I have. Again, I can tell that this fraction is halves, and the easiest way for me to find out how many parts are in my fraction is to look at the one, if I can't tell by how many pieces there are, and I'm looking at these images that are completely filled up, look at the one that still shows a fractional piece where the whole thing is not colored in. And I can see pretty clearly here that this is cut in half. Half the pizza is colored in, half the pizza is red. So again, I'm working with the fraction of halves. So I'm going to start by counting how many halves I have. So let's go through. 1, 2, 3, 4. Miss Austin misses her pens from school. Whoops, so it's a funny looking 4, but it's a 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. So I must have 8 halves. Is that correct? Did I miss anything? Oh, look, all of my pizza halves have numbers on them, except for this one. So boys and girls, this is a really good strategy for you to use when you're counting your fractions. Notice how Miss Austin put her numbers right on top of those halves. That way I can make sure that I didn't miss anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is a piece that I haven't labeled yet. So let's go ahead and label that. And this means I have 9 halves. 9 halves all together. So let's take a look at what that would look like if I was to write it down. 9 halves. I wonder how many whole pizzas I would have. Let's use our strategy of putting a circle around the entire ones that are completely filled up. There's one right there. That makes 2, 3, 4. I have 4 pizzas completely filled in. That gives me 4 whole and 1 half. Notice how when I have only 1 half, the word changes from halves, which is the plural, meaning more than 1 half, to just half. I only have 1, so it is singular. So now I have 4 whole and 1 half. I want you to remember, both of these answers are correct. I have 9 halves, and I also have 4 whole and 1 half. They are both right answers. It just depends on how I want to show my work. So let's take a look at another one. Okay. So when we got to this problem, my pizza slices were not playing nicely with me and they don't want to come out of the kitchen. I think that pizza is still cooking. So what we're gonna look at on this part is how many pieces are white and how many pieces are red. Now the first thing that I notice when I look at just one circle, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. This is the key that tells me how many fractional pieces I am going to have. And this one is cut into fourths. I do not look at both circles yet. I do not look at both shapes, and it's very important for you to remember, boys and girls. In fact, sometimes I like to start by putting a circle around the whole one. So I know I'm only looking at this one piece. This piece of circle is cut into fourths. There are 4 pieces in this circle. So let's go ahead and get started with finding out how many of these fourths do we have that are white. I'm going to number all the pieces I have that are white. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like an S, sorry about that, and 6. I have 6 fourths. If I want to write this as our fraction, we can write 6 fourths. This is a fractional number. It is only written in the terms of fractions. Now, another way for me to write this is to write it as a mixed number. When I have a mixed number, that is when I write a whole number and a fraction. So to write it as a whole number, how many wholes do I have that are completely white? What's my fraction pieces that are in the circle? Only one of them is completely white. So I have 1 whole, and let's see, how many pieces down here do I have that are white? 1, 2. 2 of them. 2 what? 2 fourths. Because it takes 2 pieces to make a whole. Oh, excuse me. I think I said that wrong. It takes 4 pieces to make a whole. So I have 2 fourths. I have 1 whole and 2 fourths. Okay, here we have another one. We're going to practice again. Let's take a look at what my fraction name is. I'm just going to look at one of them. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So that means, again, I am talking about fourths. My fraction is fourths. Let's go through and label how many fourths we have that are white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Hey, this shows me that I have 14 fourths. Ooh, that's a lot. I have 14 fourths. Notice when I write this, I put a little dash in between the 14 and the fraction name, which is fourths. 14 fourths. I'm going to go back now and see how many whole pizzas or whole circles I have that are completely white. I already counted 1. Oh, here's another one. That makes 2 of them. Oh, there's one down here that makes 3. I have 3 whole circles that are white. 3 holes with an S because there's more than one. And I also have 2 fourths. I could have even gotten fancy and said I have 3 holes and 1 half, because 1 half of this circle is white. 2 fourths, 1 half, same thing. Okay guys, so now they're gonna ask us a question. What fraction of the rectangle is red? I wonder what the name of this fraction is. First of all, let me see how many pieces there are in one entire shape. So I'm using my marker. Okay, so this is one piece right here. How many pieces do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 pieces. But I know that that is called an eighth. Eighth, not 8. Notice fraction names have a TH at the end. So we're going to add an extra H into that word 8. So this, since we're talking about fractional pieces, it is not just 8. It's eighths. Practice saying that. Eighths. Okay, so how many do I have that are actually red? I'm going to use my same strategy and go through and count. I have 1, 2, 3 pieces. And remember, by labeling those pieces with my numbers, I can ensure that I did not forget any. So this is showing me that my answer is 3 eighths. I have 3 eighths, not 3/8. This is wrong because it's missing the H, but my actual answer is going to be 3/8. What fraction of the rectangles are red? So we have another one here. Let me go through and focus on how many pieces there are in one. So I'm going to put a circle, oh, a bad circle, sorry about that, over one shape, and I'm going to count the pieces that are in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, I have 8 pieces. So that again tells me that I am working with the fraction name of eighths. Eighths. Okay. So how many pieces do I have that are colored? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10. Oh, wait. I noticed one without a number. This means I have 11. I have 11 eighths that are colored in. 11 eighths. Very good, boys and girls. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I want you to make sure that you have some notebook paper out. I want you to make sure that you have a pencil or something to write with, and we're going to take some notes in our notebook to help you with your assignment that you're about to get started on. So I'm going to give you a second to get your things together, and then you can come back and join me when you're ready to take some notes with me. Hey guys, welcome back. So let's get started, and don't worry about writing yet. I'm going to tell you exactly what I want you to write and what you don't need to write. So for this first example, my paper says partition each whole into halves. Shade 5 of the fractional parts. You do not need to write this sentence. That's just directions for you and I. Don't worry about writing that, but what I do need you to write are 1, 2, 3 circles. Don't worry about making them perfect. These are for your personal notes. Please draw 3 circles. Okay, if you're not quite ready yet, you can pause my video. But we're going to go ahead and go on if you are ready. So partition. Partition means to cut. I want you to cut each of these whole circles into halves. So I'm going to take my pencil. Actually, I'm going to switch so you can see my colors really easily. I'm going to cut each one in half. Your halves don't really matter the way they're facing as long as they're equal halves. And then it says to shade 5 of the fractional parts. So we're going to color in 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, it's always a great idea to work along with me because this is going to help you with that assignment. Okay, now we have 2 questions. And you are going to write this part down, but you are fine to write it with me as we work. So it says blank, blank are shaded. Let's go through and use those good strategies. I'm going to number. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 pieces and I know they're cut into halves. They told me that word. They're cut into halves. So I'm going to write 5 halves are shaded. Please write that sentence with me. 5 halves are shaded. Five halves are shaded. Okay, and this next part says blank blank are not shaded. What's not shaded? Just this one piece right here. So 1, and this is going to be called a half because there's only 1. 1 half are not shaded. 1 half are not shaded. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to finish writing that down. And then otherwise, if you're ready to move on, we'll go to our next example. Okay. So once again, and again, if you're not ready yet, just hit pause. If you're ready to move on with me, this one says, partition each whole into fourths. Shade 5 of the fractional parts. Do not write this sentence, but draw yourself 2 circles. They do not need to be perfect. Give me 2 circles. Okay, so we're going to partition or cut each whole circle into fourths. So I want to see my circle cut into 4 pieces. And this is just in our notebook, so we know it doesn't have to be perfect. It's for our own personal notes. And now shade 5 of the fractional parts. So let's count as we shade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go back through and double check to make sure we did that correctly by labeling our pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that number they asked me to shade. So that means 5, just like you always write the number. Fourths, make sure you get the THS at the end. 5/4 are shaded. Please record that sentence down. 5/4 are shaded. I wonder how much is not shaded. Just going to count them out. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 pieces that are not shaded. How big are the pieces? They're fourths. 3/4 are not shaded. Please record that sentence. 3/4 are not shaded. You can pause the video right here if you need to finish writing. And if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and go to our last example. Remember, just hit pause if you're not quite ready yet. And once again, do not write the directions, but draw yourself 2 circles as I read you the directions. Partition each hole into eighths. Shade 13 of each of the fractional parts. Shade 13 of the fractional parts. So I know my magic number here is eighths. That tells me that I need to draw each circle into 8 pieces. So my easiest way to do this is to cut it in half. And then cut your halves in half. And then take each piece and cut that piece in half again. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. So let's do that again. Cut your circle in half. Cut each half in half. Cut each piece in half. It's like a pizza, doesn't it? Miss Austin must be ready for lunch. And it tells me to shade 13 of those fractional parts. Shade 13. So I'm going to count them out as I shade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. Let's go back and make sure we didn't miss anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. 13. Which means we have 13 eighths. Remember to put that TH at the end. 13 eighths are shaded. Oh my goodness. Oh, I think my boys are getting tired of waiting. So 13 eighths are shaded. 13 eighths are shaded. And what is not shaded? 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, guys. The little one is ready for a nap. 3 eighths are not shaded. 3 eighths are not shaded. So I will attach a picture of my notes to your assignment page so you can have that for your information, but hopefully you worked along with me, so you already have it. This page is going to be so helpful for you while you're doing your assignment. So go ahead and get started on that. And I will see you guys next week. Be safe, take care.